Hey everybody, it's Pastor Jeff, and I'm coming to you Wednesday afternoon. It's almost 5 o'clock, and I wanted to give you an update on where we stand in preparation for tomorrow's auction. As most of you know, the Lord has made it clear to us as a church family that we're to attend the auction tomorrow at the Industrial Park with the potential intention of making a purchase for 2 units that would constitute our new church home. I want to let you know some things that have happened since the last time we spoke, Sunday afternoon. I've gone around to all of the life groups trying to give everybody an update and to have a chance to have more conversation. But let me tell you where we stand the day before the auction. First, I have met with the bank a couple of times, and our local town bank has said we see no problem in the bridge moving forward under the conditions that we had discussed. And they said, if you decide to make this purchase, just come see us right afterwards and we'll start moving forward, and closing and securing a mortgage and all that should be no problem. Now, in addition to that, as of today, I've also begun dialoguing with a Christian credit union to see if perhaps the conditions or the particulars of the potential mortgage with our hometown bank might be significantly improved through this Christian credit union. So that is yet to be determined. At best, it is only going to improve. At worst, we know where we stand with our hometown bank, and they've said we can move forward. Now, in addition to that, I received an email from the auctioneer on Monday afternoon. And the auctioneer had asked me at one point last week, Thursday of last week, after I found out about the auction, called to find out. And he said to me, what would it take to make it happen now? And I said, well, if you told me that you were going to sell 2 units at $175, we would certainly have our interest piqued. Of course, we have to get together as a church and move forward, but you let me know if you want to talk about 2 units at $175. Well, I didn't get a call back and never heard anything from the auctioneer until Monday. About 1 o'clock, the email came through and said that the owner has respectfully declined our conversation. However, he has given me his number and said, feel free to call him. He'd like to talk to you if you want to talk further. Well, I sat on that and prayed, and this afternoon I put a call back into the original owner. Now, not dealing with the auctioneer, but directly to the owner. I wasn't able to reach him personally, but I did leave a voicemail explaining our interest and that if he would like to discuss the property, that I was more than open to talk about it. So I may get a call between now and then, I may not, we'll see, but that's where we stand there. Let me tell you now about how God has been moving in our midst, and just as a summary to remember, we've talked about an agreement of taking a maximum mortgage of $200,000 because that would, under the worst case scenario, allow us to maintain our existing budget. At the same time, we've got a max unit price of $222,000. Long and short of it, with a approximately $100,000 build-out cost, that puts the equation at $600,000 in a purchase and $200,000, if you will, in a mortgage. So this gap is $400,000, and that's what God would need to provide, either in blessed, graceful gifting or in the owner somehow lowering the purchase price. Well, that's the picture. Let me tell you what God has been doing. I have heard from a handful of families, and from those who have responded, we have over $100,000 that have been brought to the equation in the short term. In essence, either the money is already in the bank, I've made 2 deposits of significant funds, or the money is liquid and promised in the here and now. Some of you know, for example, if you wanted to get something out of your 401k, while you could commit to doing it in this process, it takes more than the 24 or 48 hours than some might have had access to. So we're at $100,000. It's literally $100,100 have been brought to the table. And we still have $300,000, again, either in gifts or in reduction per the owner, that would need to take place for us to move forward. But that's where we stand. My prayer is that you will have seen God is moving mightily in our midst. It is already nothing short of miraculous. I've had a couple of conversations, and I've heard from some families who said, look, we can't make a dent in the auction, but we can tell you this, that this process has brought us to the point where from our knees we've committed to God that we will be a biblically stewarding family from here on out. And I have to tell you that, and just seeing and sensing some of your hearts, it has blessed me immensely. I know that God is moving in our midst. I continue to believe that this is the place for our church for a number of reasons that we talked about Sunday. But I'm not going to hang God's goodness on the hook of whether or not that property becomes the bridge. I pray that it does. I believe that's God's plan. But if it doesn't, then I'll move forward, as we will as a family, continuing to be a life-saving station that's committed to making disciples who make disciples who make disciples. And my prayer is that in this process, you've come to a place with the Lord where you're living all in. And as we've talked before, it's not about asking, how much should I give the Lord? For those of us that have died to self and are living in His blessed grace, it's all His. And the only question we should ask is, how much do I keep? And then the rest is really His for His use. I know that when you live in that place, you will live and you will sleep well. And that's my prayer. My prayer is every night you'll put your head down on the pillow and you'll be exhausted. You'll be ready for a good night's sleep. And the last thing you hear before you drift off into your dreams is the Lord looking down and saying to you, well done today, my good and faithful servant. That's my prayer. God bless you. I will let you know tomorrow how things unfold. If you would like to talk to me, either to contribute to this process and shift the numbers, or if you have any questions or if you have any concerns, you call me directly and don't hesitate, okay? We're a family, and the Lord's walking us through this together. I love you, and I'm praying for you. Let us continue to pray together that the Lord will say, here's what I have. Make it clear, and that we will have the courage and the discernment to walk with Him no matter what. Amen and amen. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.